doing what it can to welcome back Crimea as a Russian territory, but Ukraine continues to insist Crimea belongs where it is. In fact, Ukraine's interim president signed a decree on Friday. The order cancels the Crimean parliament's March 16th referendum to become part of Russia. Crimean officials, however, vow the vote will go ahead. What's Russia saying about all of this? CCTV's Dan Whitehead is in Moscow, picking up the story there with the very latest.
Well, Mike, Russia very much welcoming a delegation from Crimea who spent the entire day in Moscow, arriving under much fanfare. In fact, a standing ovation from Russian MPs as the delegation from Crimea arrived here in the city. Russia told them that it will stand by any decision which the Crimean citizens make in this referendum a week on Sunday. The Kremlin, in fact, saying that a bill to discuss the annex of Crimea to the Russian Federation will be discussed in Parliament as early as March the 21st. So Russia clearly making strong, firm plans for what they think will be a decision by the Crimean citizens to join the Russian Federation. They, of course, face that continuing condemnation from Ukraine and the West, who say that referendum will not stand on a world stage. So this battle continues between Russia, Kiev, and the West.
And Dan, even more tensions on Friday. Russia now threatening to cut off Ukraine's gas supply. What will happen there?
Well, yeah, Russia's state-owned energy company Gazprom has made this threat to Ukraine. Its chief executive says that the company is owed some $1.9 billion by the country. Of course, Ukraine has a long-standing energy deal with Russia. Gazprom's chief executive, Alexei Mily, saying that if Ukraine doesn't make good on its debt, it will potentially return to a situation which we saw back in 2009. Back then, Russia cut off the supply to Ukraine for some 2 weeks. That had a backlog effect on parts of Europe. I don't think we're quite at that situation yet, but that is a serious threat. Ukraine, of course, near bankrupt. Officials, the new officials in the country, say that it needs around $35 billion to just get through this year and next. Just to sum up the growing drift tonight between Moscow, Kiev, and the West, Vladimir Putin saying through his spokesman that if one follows the logic of the West, from now on, any government that has been brought in on the bayonets of armed extremists can now be recognized. The violence in parts of Ukraine continues. This diplomatic fight, though, continues to escalate as well.
Dan Whitehead, live for us in Moscow. Thanks so much.